Time now for the Sports Six-Pack with Andrew Rogers.
You know the drill. Send in those questions. It's the Sports Six-Pack from Hale Varsity Club, one of the best venues to enjoy a six-pack. Maybe the best venue out there to enjoy the six-pack. We've got your questions loaded up. Thank you for sending them in. Sugar Shane on the board. We'll fire them my way. Shane, kick us off.
Question number 1.
Well, I'm getting to it here. Hold on.
Shane, you know, these people send in these questions and expect some quickness early on. Maybe halfway through the six-pack, we know you're slowing down, getting loosey-goosey. Got to be on top of it at the start of the six-pack.
Okay, we'll start with question number 1. How many full-ride scholarships are going to start coming in for Tristan after hitting 5 field goals, including the game-winning field goal in the state championship game last night?
Well, obviously, tons. It's funny how I spoke a full-ride scholarship into existence on Morning Dump this morning. And it's funny because I started kicking myself afterward like, man, why did this come in 20 minutes after we finished recording? And then I was just like, you know what? No, you spoke that into existence, so I'm taking all the credit, right? No, of course. Tristan is an insane talent. He is the best high school kicker I've ever seen, ever. And I know it's not the biggest, boldest claim because I've only been around for 25 years, but man, is this guy special. He's got the biggest leg I've ever seen for a 17-year-old. He can kick the ball a mile. His field goals would have been good from like 65 yards in that state championship game, at least one of them. He had a 57-yarder already this year. Those scholarships are going to start flowing now for the kid. And talk about somebody that's super humble and always puts in the work. I talk with DB all the time because I don't get to see Tristan day in and day out like he does. But the work that he puts in on the football field and the weight room, the stories that I hear, it's no wonder. No wonder he's as good as he is. So congrats to him on receiving a full-ride scholarship to the University of Nebraska. I hope he takes it, but man, I wish him the best in all his endeavors because he's still got some extra time. Graduation year in 2023. But I'll say this right now, Shaner. Tristan Alvano will win more football games than he will lose once he gets to college, and he will be an NFL kicker someday.
Well, being a Raider fan, I know how that goes because they won a lot of games from their kicking team.
And I, as a Bears fan, I know how it goes when you don't have a good kicker on your team.
Question number 2.
Fantasy question. Which player was on their last chance in Week 11 and then blew it?
Huh. Before I get there, is Tristan Alvano, is he a senior or is he a junior? Now I'm starting to second guess myself.
Not sure.
I'll find out. As I'm trying to get to my answer here. So ask that question for me one more time, Shaner.
Question number 2.
You didn't have to play the drop, but I appreciate it.
I just wanted another one in there. Fantasy question. Which player was on their last chance in Week 11 and then blew it?
Okay. Last chance, DJ Moore.
In Week 11 he was?
DJ Moore. I mean, man, he's somebody that was drafted so high in fantasy, and that team just isn't good. And he's not productive because of it. He had 3 catches for 24 yards against one of the worst secondaries in football in the Baltimore Ravens. I shouldn't say the worst. They're just injury-riddled.
Yeah, they are.
Very injury-riddled secondary. 3 catches, 24 yards. Game before that, 4 catches, 29 yards. Game before that, 2 catches, 24 yards. Bad quarterback play makes him such a bad fantasy player. And the Panthers desperately need a quarterback, which I think they will get in this coming draft. And you know what? It kind of ties in right to our third question. But before we get there, Alvano is a senior. So I'm happy I thought through that. He's class of 2023. So it's about dang time that somebody sniped him and gave him a full ride scholarship.
Question number 3.
The 2023 NFL draft order has 11 weeks. After 11 weeks looks like this: Texans, Panthers, Bears, Raiders. Predict your way to early top 4.
Shaner, is it depressing at all that both of our teams are in this top 4, or is it fantastic because we get one of the best college football players?
Well, everybody on the Raiders wants the quarterback, the Ohio State guy.
Everybody wants C.J. Stroud. I don't think he's going there. So I think the Texans grab Bryce Young.
Okay.
I think the Panthers grab C.J. Stroud.
Well, that would suck.
And I think you guys are stuck with Will Levis.
Oh, dang it.
And Will Levis is getting a ton of hype. Hype that puts him above C.J. Stroud in a bunch of conversations, but I don't see it. I think he ends up on your Raiders team. But, at the same time, I think you guys write out Derek Carr. I don't think Will Levis is an upgrade from Derek Carr. So I look at this and I say this. Bryce Young, number 1 overall. C.J. Stroud, 2nd overall. The Bears get Will Anderson Jr., who's a beast off the edge. Great addition to that defense. He'll be that Khalil Mack type player for them. And then...
You're welcome.
Yes, thanks. You're welcome for all those draft picks that you guys did not end up signing.
Yeah, I don't know what Mark was doing there, but it happens.
And I think you guys go after Jalen Carter, the Georgia kid. I think you go after defense too.
Yeah, but everybody wants CJ though. I mean, he's the guy.
He is, but everybody, at least in a ton of mock drafts lately, Will Levis is the guy that goes above him in a lot of drafts.
Now, would it have changed if Ohio State would have lost to Maryland?
No, because Kentucky loses all the time. Kentucky dropped out of the top 25, and Will Levis is still projected to go as high, if not higher, than C.J. Stroud in some categories. That's why I factor Levis into conversations like I do with Mitch Trubisky and Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson. Like, yes, these guys are talented, and they put on great showings when it comes to the combine or pro days or whatever you want to call it that they do now. But C.J. Stroud is still the better option over Will Levis. I'll take that to my grave. You guys want C.J. Stroud.
Question number 5.
We do.
You want the Panthers to pass on him.
Yes, we want C.J. Stroud. The Devils tied their franchise record with 13 straight wins last night. What's the best winning streak in sports all time for you?
For me, personally, I'm so biased. And it comes to the Moneyball 20-game win streak. They're going for 20. They're going for 20. 2002 Oakland Athletics season. Right? That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm right when I say that. It's when they went on that improbable run. And, of course, they made a movie about it, and that also plays into why I love it so much, too. But they won 20 consecutive games. Now, I know that was broken by the Indians just years ago when they won 22 games. Do you remember that in, 2017?
Right.
Is that the year they lost to the Cubs in the World Series, or did they lose the year before that to the Cubs?
I don't know.
Were the Cubs winners in 2016?
It's been a minute.
Or was
It's been 7 years.
I want to say... Yeah, because 2017 was the Astros and the asterisk. So, yeah, that makes sense. So 22 games in 2017 for the Indians. But aside from that, that's, like I said, I'm so biased. There's a ton of other great streaks out there and a variety of different sports. I mean, I look back, way back before my time when UCLA won 7 straight national championships in college basketball.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's
streak.
insane.
Well, what about Patriots a few years ago?
And the Patriots a few years ago winning
every single game in the season.
21 total games or something like that. Yeah, they won every single game in the season, but ended up losing in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, crazy. Good for a lot of these teams and the streaks that they've put together, and it just builds for rich history coming into those programs.
Is that a streak that's never, ever going to end? Dolphins being the only team to go undefeated for an entire season?
Yeah, do you know?
Is it because there's more games now? It's just so
that's
it's just
one,
much,
but it also,
much harder to do.
It's also like the game of football's evolved, as we all know, and these players nowadays are bigger freaks than they were back then. You know, you look at a lot of teams and you get the flashy players and you get high-scoring games nowadays versus back then. Like, yeah, they threw the ball. Like, Dan Marino threw the ball. But you also got run-heavy teams.
He stopped your Bears from
yeah, thanks.
He did. It was him.
Yep,
it was just him.
It was
totally just him. That guy could throw the short pass quicker than anybody ever. And he did that on Monday Night Football against the Bears.
Stop. I hate that you had to bring that up.
Question number 6.
Let's have some fun. Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every single song you hear?
I'd rather sing to every song. I wish I knew the lyrics to more songs so that I could like jam out at a table somewhere every time a song comes on. I'm so bad with song lyrics, and I'm in a bubble when it comes to things that I know. Like I know the popular 80s songs a lot because I'm a big 80s guy. I love country music, and I like hip-hop music. But I don't know the words to a lot of hip-hop songs. I just love beats. So, it's weird. I would love to know more songs, and I'm more of a singer than a dancer, but I do like to dance. Hey, I think we missed a question, Shane. I think we missed question number 4. You're so drunk over there, we missed question number 4.
Well, it didn't help that I did question number
2 twice.
Question number 2.
Now 3 times.
Question number 4.
Yeah.
Does a tie hurt the U.S. men's national team going forward, or is it too early to tell?
The result's not fatal, but, winning that game would have gone a long way for the U.S. And they were just minutes away from claiming all 3 points. But, man, I saw a stat, the U.S. tried to cross 67 balls in yesterday, and they didn't get through. Something insane, that high of a number. And I was watching the game, and I even said that. I talk to myself because that's just who I am. I'm like, man, every time Pulisic tries to center the ball, it never gets through. It just gets blocked, and there's no opportunity for the U.S. And they controlled the entirety of that first half. A great goal by Way, great through ball by Pulisic. Didn't help my bets, but great through ball. Gave the U.S. a 1-goal lead. But then in the second half, Wales really came alive. They adjusted, and they found a way to keep the ball in the U.S. end more often than not. It stinks because getting those 3 points would have put the U.S. in position essentially to control their own destiny moving forward in the group stage. But now, this is where they find themselves, in a spot to where we may have to hold our breath in the tiebreaker picture, right? And the tiebreaker picture goes as followed. Total points, goals difference, then goals scored, then points scored in matches between tied teams, goal difference in matches between tied teams, and so forth down the list. I don't want to get into those choppy waters. I want it to be easy for the U.S. men's team. They haven't been at this point in 8 years. I want to see them go far. They're inexperienced. I get that. But they didn't look overly inexperienced on the field yesterday. So if they can put up a good fight against England, maybe come away with a win, come away with a tie, that'd be huge. Because I think England beats the living stew out of Wales later on. And then the U.S. just needs a big win against Iran. But this team reminds me of, every U.S. team that I can remember. It's a team that doesn't win 6-2 like England did against Iran. It's the team that wins 2-1 in, heroic fashion in a lot of cases. Plus, I've only had a few years to really remember the U.S. team because they haven't been there in 8 years. So there you have it. I hope they go far. I really do. I love watching World Cup soccer, and I'd prefer my country to be there.
Feeling tipsy yet? Catch more of Andrew Rogers from 7 to 9 in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio.